Translation is you're sliding. You're sliding the graph or the image from either left to right, up and down, and so on. So by the word translation, I need you to write slide. Okay? And so that basically means it's going to be sliding either up and down or left and right. So we want to remember ordered pairs. Remember, ordered pairs always start with an x value and a y value. Our x value either moves right or left, and our y values either move up and down. All right, so let's start some examples. So the first thing you want to do is we want to talk about the rule. So this rule right here says that we translate x comma y, and so that basically means for x it's going to be x minus 4 and y plus 5. All right, so if it's minus, it's going to be moving to the left. And if it's plus, it's going to be moving up for the y value. So if the x value is a minus, we're moving to the left. If our y value is plus, we're moving up. All right? So let's start off with our first value. All right, we got j. So we want to, whenever we're going from the image to the pre-image to the image, or the old image to the new image, we always start with our regular alphabet, and then we put a little apostrophe, and that means prime. So let's start with our j value. Our j value is here, and that is at 0, negative 2. So remember our rule. Our rule says that we go left 4 and up 5. So I go over 4 spaces to the left, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I go up 5 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so that's going to be our J prime, okay? Then we go on to our next letter, which in this case, we're going to let it be L. So L, again, we move 4 spaces to the left, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we go up 5 spaces, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is going to be our L prime. And then lastly, K, we go over 4 spaces again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we go up 5 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and that's our K prime. All right, so now we want to connect the dots in the same format as they were in the original image. So now we have successfully translated triangle JKL to triangle JKL prime or apostrophe. All right, so just a couple things you want to label. This part right here you want to label as your pre-image. Remember, that's what I was saying was the old image or original image. And then this is the new image or just image. Okay. So all throughout this unit, guys, when I say pre-image, I'm talking about the original or old image. And if I say image, we're talking about the new image. And that's going to come in handy when we talk about some other things. All right, so now let's move on to the next one. So again, here's our rule. We translate triangle RST to triangle R prime, S prime, T prime. All right, so first of all, we want to figure out the rule because unlike the first one, we weren't given, do we move left, do we move right? So we actually are already given a value here. So we're going from T, which is our pre-image, to T prime, which is our image. So you can either go left and right first and then up and down, or up and down and then left and right. I like to do left and right first, but again, it depends on how you want to handle it. All right, so I'm going to go left 1, 2 spaces. So it's going to be left 2. Then from that dot, I'm going to go down 6 spaces. So it's going to be down 6. So I went from T to T prime by going left 2 spaces and down 6. Now, if you did the other way, you would have said down 6, left 2. Okay, so it doesn't matter the order, just so long as you keep the number with the direction correct. All right, so now we need to draw the rest of the triangle. So let's go to S. So remember our rule. We go left 2, so 1, 2, and then down 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's going to be our S prime here. Okay. Then we do our R prime. So again, we go left 2 spaces, 1, 2, and then we go down 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and that's going to be our R prime. And so then what we're going to do is connect our dots in the same format. And now we've successfully translated triangle RST to triangle R prime S prime T prime. So you'll be given one or two scenarios. You'll either be given your rule where it tells you offhand what you're going to move left or right and up and down, or you're going to be given the two figures, and you're going to be given one of the points of the new figure, and you have to figure out what the rule is based on that. All right. All right. Number 3. DEF is translated so the E prime now has a coordinates of 0, 5. What is F prime after the translation? All right. So we need to first of all draw where E prime is. So E prime is going to be at 0, 5. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's going to be our E prime. All right. So now we need to figure out our rule from that. So remember, this part right here is not the rule. The 0, 5 is not the rule. This is just the coordinates of the new point. So then, now we need to write the prime. So like I said, so we're going to go from E to E prime. So again, we're going to go 1, 2, 3 left. So it'll be left 3 and then up 4. Okay? So that's our rule. So next, we don't have to draw the figure. We just have to figure out what F prime is. So we need to figure out the coordinates for F, which are positive 1, because we go over here on the x-axis 1, and then we go 1, 2, 3, 4. So for F, it is 1, -4. Remember our rule. Now if it's left, remember that's always going to be a minus, so we're going to say -3. And if it's up, it's going to be +4. So the F prime will be, we're just going to subtract or add depending on what our signs are. So we have 1 -3, which is -2. -4 plus 4 is 0. So our F prime is -2, 0. Okay? So next one, this time we've been using triangles, but we can also do this with quadrilaterals, any type of polygon, just so long as we have coordinates that we can graph. It tells us that quadrilateral PQRS is translated so that S prime now has the coordinates of -1, -4. What is R prime after translation? So again, just like we did with number 3, we need to go ahead and graph the points for S prime. So we go over to -1 and then down 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's going to give me S prime. So now we need to figure out our rule from S to S prime. So this time I'm going to move 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces to the right. So we're going to move right 4 and then down 3. Okay? So again, just want to emphasize again, this 1, -4 is not the rule. This is just the coordinates of our S prime. So not rule. Okay? All right, so then now we go to R and we find out the coordinates for it. So the coordinates for it are, for R, are 1, 2. All right, so again, since we're moving to the right, we're going to add 4 and we're going down 3, so that's going to be -3. So R prime is going to be 5 and -1. All right, so again, so just to recap, example number 1, we were given our points. We actually had to draw the triangle or the polygon based on our rule, which in this case was left 4 because it was -4 and up 5 because it was +5. The second one we were given was the figure and we were given one of the points. So we had to find the rule so that way we could graph the other points. So using those other points, once we graphed the new points, we just connected together and sorry about that. And then we'll have our two new figures. If you notice that the figures are just sliding left and right, okay? So number 3, we didn't have to draw the picture. All we had to do was graph the first coordinate we were given, which was E prime, and then find out the rule, and then apply that rule to one of the other points. And so on a future test or quiz, that'll be what I'll do. Is I'll give you a coordinate and then you have to figure out what the rule is, and once you find out what the rule is, you'll then give me one of the other coordinates. You don't actually have to draw the whole picture. And the same for 4. 4 was our first quadrilateral, was our only quadrilateral because everyone else we did were triangles. But it can work with quadrilaterals, it can work with any type of polygon, pentagons, hexagons, whatever. So again, just like with number 3, I gave you a coordinate of the new point, and then from there I determined the rule, and then from there I added or subtracted based on what direction the graph went in. All right, so if you'll stay tuned for part 2, we'll go over that, which is the back of the paper. Thank you for paying attention. I'll talk to you in the next one.